4.5 years ago, my life changed forever. I lost my husband, Brandon, and the life that I thought I was going to have had ended. Today, I want to share with you guys my grief story and how I survived the deepest parts of my grief journey. I met Brandon when I was 15 years old, when we both were 15 years old. We met at the bowling alley. He was so fine to me. And we were together pretty much from the day we met until the day he died. We became teen parents at 16 years old. We have had our daughter. We got married at 22. We moved out of the state together for a couple years. We lived down in Kansas, and then we came back home to Michigan. And we just raised our family. We weren't like the perfect couple, but we loved each other unconditionally. He was one of my best friends, my support system. He was a kind man. He was a good man. And I didn't know a life without him. That's how our relationship was. I didn't know life without him. And I thought I would grow old and gray with him until one beautiful day in November 2021, November 7th. It was just a normal Sunday for us. Brandon and the boys were, we have two boys together. I didn't mention that, but we have two boys together as well. Brandon and the boys were outside cutting the grass, doing lawn work. Me and my daughter, we were inside the house doing housework. It was just a normal day. It was really nice that day, though, like 70 degrees or so. And in Michigan, if you got a nice day, you're going to take advantage of it. I have started to put the Christmas tree up early that year. Brandon loved Christmas. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put the tree up earlier this year. So the kids and I started that, and Brandon came to me and was like, hey, I'm going to go take a bike ride up the street, and I'll be right back. He had a motorcycle, which I did not love. He went up the street, took a trip back. Well, took a trip up the street, and when he left that day, I never saw him again alive after that. That evening, while I was waiting on him to come home, I started preparing dinner, and I just had a good feeling something happened. Um, I had heard some sirens, and the thoughts in my mind was like, I felt it was him, but I was like, he's probably just hurt. He's just hurt. About 30 minutes later, there was a knock on my door, and it was the police letting me know that my husband had passed away. In that moment, I felt like a part of me had like just escaped out of my body. It felt just so unnatural. Um, I knew I would cry a little bit. I didn't think I would cry like this. In that moment, I knew my life and my kids' life were never going to be the same again. The earliest days, I felt like I was not even in my body anymore. Like I was watching my life outside of my body. I needed everything to stop. I just wanted things to just pause for a moment. You know, I knew the world did not revolve around me, but God, could you just let things just pause for a second? It's so much going on. I have to organize this funeral service and all of these things, and I just lost my best friend. I was with this man for 20 years. The only relationship I knew from childhood into adulthood. So everything I knew was just like crumbled. When you're with someone that long, and also when someone is taken from you so instantly, it makes you question God, if you're a believer, a lot. In the early days, I always still believed in God. I didn't feel like He abandoned me, but I did feel like He let me down. Because as the days passed, and once everybody else went back to their life, I had to deal with reality that it was just me and my kids. Um, I had to navigate not only my emotions and my grief, um, the emotions and grief of three other people, but also the grief of my husband's family, and then grief from my family too. Like, we were together so long, we were all just so close. So it was a lot to bear in that moment. And some days I didn't think I was going to make it. I didn't. I didn't think I could like move forward with life. I wanted to not be here. I didn't. Um, but some of the things that got me through it were therapy. Um, I still talk to a therapist every other week now. My faith in God, even though I was hurt, I knew that He would carry me through. I just felt that God was just going to be there. And I'm not a church goer, but I am a believer. I'm just going to put it like that. And in my grief journey, going through this, I know that I couldn't have done this without God. The nights I've cried, the days I would go in my bathroom and close the door and just scream. And I always felt like God was holding me, comforting me. I started to learn myself a little more. I didn't know, I knew me, but I didn't know me, single me. And so single me was a different me, but figuring out what I liked about myself, what I liked about just life, because I love living. I just had never pictured my life without my husband. So now that I was on my own, I just had to just figure out what things brought me joy. And I got back into journaling. I used to journal when I was a teenager, and I got back into that. Um, Putting a lot of my emotions out on there on paper. Um, I was creating content, but I didn't know what not to share at that time. And, but that was an outlet for me though, and it brought me to where I am today. I learned to live with grief, not letting it consume me, but I let it flow through me. When I need to cry, I cry. Whether I'm at work, in the car, at the store, I just let it have its way. Um, when you love someone that deeply and that long, when you lose them, you're going to grieve them for a very long time. I've learned that grief never fully goes away, but it is something that you can survive. And if you're going through anything like this and grieving someone and it's in the deepest depths of its grief, just know that you can survive it too. If you like content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Be blessed and take care.